ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ.
So once again, hello. We're starting with the session. Hope those who doesn't get proper time will join later. This is already 5 minutes to 12. So this is another topic which I felt a recent topic with relevance, where we speak about CSR, corporate social responsibilities. Most of the work are done in the management side, as far as I know. The project works are the PhDs. We have seen good number of work on CSR. But nowadays, even Department of Economics is also doing quite a lot of work regarding CSR practices. And I just take this opportunity to link ethics and corporate social responsibilities. It's just an introductory thing. And this is a catchy thing which I liked, the graph of demand and supply, which become a swastik if we take into consideration some dharma or logic, like ethics and all. We know that economics has been rated a very cheap subject. In the beginning, it was considered as big science. It was some people have even called it as a bastard science, and it's all very old things, dismal science. People have at that time probably they are more ethical based people probably, who always felt that economics speaks with in terms of money and materialistic things, and probably that is one of the reasons why they never bothered to give so much of significance to the subject economics. And mercantilists, as all of us know, they are more for money making, more for wealth, and they never bothered how they make. Mercantilism was a very hard, a very stern group of people who just wanted to make money, and that is maybe the reason why economics was considered as a dismal science, where we have no ethics, nothing, no moral, this thing and all. And later, probably Adam Smith, father of economics, who, though the book was in the name of wealth, he brought up a lot of issues which are very welfare oriented and godly, moral based, and he's the one probably responsible for making economics a very dignified and decent subject to start with. And later we have seen many people like Marshall, Pigou, they all started to move from hard economics to softened part of economics, where we see money is of course very important. Money is very much needed, not at all. We have no doubt in that. But at the cost of what, or why we need money? These questions made people to think more in terms of money is just a means, it is not an end. And probably Mahatma Gandhi, we have heard him saying that Mother Earth is having sufficient to our requirements, to our needs, and she cannot have so much to fulfill our greeds. So we become greedy and we wanted to accumulate more, and our needs become greeds, and the world changed. And simultaneously, economics, the subject also transformed from a greedy subject or a hard subject to a subject which is more humanistic in nature. It's more sensitive to human needs, and we have seen how the issues of development after the Industrial Revolution has taken us think from money, wealth to development, growth, and growth to development, and from development to human development. We have seen how now even human development is being questioned by many people. Idondu joke ide, like poor man was sleeping under a tree, and a very rich man of the place who is more interested to spread the news that he's very successful and efficient and wanted to motivate people, went to him and he says, see, you are a very young man and it's the prime period of your life, you should be more productive, do something, and look at me how I am. I worked hard like anything and I made a lot of money. I worked and I become very successful. I made a lot of money. And then he said, then what you did? Then I married. Then what? Then I got children, then educated them, then married them off and did everything. And now, then. And last he said, now I'm very free and I'm sleeping nicely with my tummy up and I'm very happy, he said. Immediately the poor man says, you are doing that after doing all those things. Look at me, I'm doing it from the beginning. Now only I'm doing it. So ultimately the meaning of happiness is very individualistic. So what you have to do to get that end is within you only. We cannot say it comes from money or it comes from education or it comes from long life. We really don't know from where it comes. So the development economist says development at the financial or monetary benefits have been increased, but is it really enjoyed by the human being? Then we went to human development, and where a country is measured in terms of longevity, in terms of education, in terms of income, of course. All these things has been taken into consideration and they have been rated, and there is a lot of changes in the ranking. Everything happened, and we have been evaluating people on that basis. But again, the question, are we happy? We are educated, yes. We are having a long life, yes. We are having good amount of income, yes. Are we happy? And the question, again, the same question. We are not very sure. With all these things, when we get that, yes, we feel very happy. When I purchase a car, I feel very happy. When I purchase a house, I feel very happy. When I get something, I feel very happy. And very next moment, very next day, I start comparing myself with the other person who is having a better version of that, and I feel sad. So it is not money, it is not education, it is not health to some extent, probably longevity. But what is we needed, we really don't know. And what actually we get happiness or peace or whatever it is not something which is given by somebody. It is something which is there inside and you have to feel it. So we have transformed from human development to now it is we are thinking in terms of happiness. So there are good number of developed countries. They have a lot of money, lot of educated people with long years of life, and we also have in the same countries we have good number of suicides. We have good number of divorces. We have a lot of people having medicine for depression, and crime rate is very high. And what actually is we needed, we really don't know. The money, of course not, but what else we don't know. And the world is looking at countries like India, where we got all these without having the money, proper money. We had all the happiness, peace, love, everything when we were very poor. The country was a poor country, but people used to wonder how people, husband and wife, can live for 50 years, 60 years together, the same couple. That was a question Western people used to ask. And how you can live in a group without having your own independence, joint family. These are the questions they never understood, and this is how we lived, and we lived very happily all these years with the poverty. And these are all things which is known to us from where we get, what we get. It's all our own individual things, and human development index failed to explain why many developed countries are unhappy. And now the world is moving towards happiness index, as all of you know. And this happiness index was given by Bhutan, a very small country which is Buddhist based, of course. Many of the followers of Buddha are there, and as all of us know, Buddha says what? So it is desire which destroys our happiness. So we should not be, as Mahatma Gandhi said, we should not be greedy. We should complete our needs, but definitely greediness will take us to some other level. So economics is becoming more sensitive. It is taking more humanistic in nature, and now we are welfare economy, or human development, or happiness. Even to that extent, economics has taken all the factors into consideration. We discuss household, we discuss marriage, we discuss how economics of marriage, economics of divorce, everything comes into its fold, and everything has economics in it. Every part of life is having economics in it, and that makes it very special, and that makes it very common to everybody, whether he's an economic student or not. It is very much needed. So we have seen a lot of changes in this, and now it is not something like earning and enjoying our life. It is like getting happiness. How we are going to get that itself is a question, and many developed countries are looking towards countries like India, where we have morals, where we have ethics, where we have without having proper we're having a very high level of poverty. We were very happy, and we never taught our children to accumulate money, to make wealth, to be greedy, and to live for yourself happily, and to be away from other people, family members. Never we teach such things. Our what the culture, our culture never taught that to anybody. We have, of course, learning it from seeing others. That's a different thing. But the very core of the culture is something very unique, and the Western countries are looking at us to know why they're so happy, or why they're staying, they're sustaining with all these difficulties, and what is behind their success, or what is behind their happiness. And yoga, meditation, all these things are there in India, and now it is going to other countries. They're following us, thinking that ultimately we get peace and happiness out of this, not out of the accumulation of wealth they have got. So in this way, economics is molding itself into different dimensions, and now even ethics has also come into picture. And after Amartya Sen got his Nobel Prize, all these issues have become very relevant to our economy. And as Amartya Sen, Professor Amartya Sen himself says somewhere, he says, these are all not something of my own. This is what my culture taught us. All these things may be new to the Western world, but these are all there in our culture, and this is what I put up in a proper way and presented it to the world. So ethics and economics, we do need money, no, undoubtedly, but having money itself is not complete our life, and we have to have all these dharma and moral this thing, and that makes the world bigger and more safer. So the rule between ethics and economics, as I told you, ethics will always think in terms of doing something good to them, because that will come back to us. But economics will always take into consideration who is rich, and we follow them because we give a lot of importance to money in that sense. The golden rule of economics is to make money, but the ethics, on the other hand, it never tell anybody to do that, but instead we think it is something which comes back to us, and we will be very careful about that, and give good to others so that good will come back to us. So this is one of the photos of so many cars, traffic jam probably in some Western country, which is very threatening to the environment. And we being economists should think in terms of externalities. We speak a lot of positive and negative externalities, and sometimes we, without doing anything, get some benefits from others, and sometimes we doing nothing get bad effects from somebody else's work also. And pollution is one such thing where somebody is going for their happiness, and what we are getting out of their vehicles is the negative thing. And all these things, if you look at a very economic level, probably it is not going to be, it's not going to give any solution to that. And the welfare economics becomes very relevant because public economics simultaneously, because they not only take those things like production of wealth or productivity of an individual, but also some issues which are very relevant, like externalities or social security. Those issues are also very relevant. And The Tragedy of the Commons, a book written by Floyd, speaks about these issues. And he criticizes Adam Smith in his book, saying that Adam Smith, as all of us know, he speaks about invisible hand, the theory of invisible hand, where he says that the individual effort, micro level effort, will lead to the macro development. I work for myself, you work for yourself, but the economy grows, the country grows at the macro level. So it is, he calls an invisible theory. But Lloyd, on the other hand, says this will never, not always happens. That is, the micro efforts leading to a macro results is not always happen. Sometimes the plus point to me will become a minus to you. And without knowing me hurting you, I may hurt you, I may trouble you, I may destroy you. Such things will also be there. And to solve these issues, they say ethics, regulations, laws are very, very important. As I told you, regulations and laws are forceful, but ethics, on the other hand, it teaches us in a way that it will not make us to it will not make us to do wrong things. Like, for example, in olden days, when we also do the same thing to our children, undoubtedly, but when we were very young, we used to have small ethics related books, small story books, where indirectly we teach we were taught by our parents or by our teachers, such issues are not ethical, such issues are ethical, something like that. For example, like a story where ಹಾಲ್ಗೆ ನೀರು ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅರ್ಧ ನೀರು ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾರ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ. One day monkey snatch hold of his can, it takes it on a tree and put 1 rupee into the water, 1 on the road, 1 into the water, 1 on the road, and ultimately it leaves the thing. The indirect thing is he made unethical money out of mixing water with milk, and somehow the monkey rectified the thing. Half of the money went to the water and half comes back to him. There are very small stories, but ultimately it teaches us not to cheat somebody or not to do some unethical things. Probably regulations and laws, of course, you have to take them ultimately if things are not going to set right. But probably ethics in a way will sharpen the mindset of us at the younger age and will take us in the right direction. So he says all these can be used as an ethic, as a solution to some issues, some tragedies of the commons, he calls, which are not at all observed by many of us. Like, we see the traffic and say, oh, yeah, what a wonderful line they have created. The whole road looks so beautiful. Probably that may be the impression, but how many people think in terms of the consequences which are happening to the people who are living next to them, who are poor, who are not able to take precautionary measures? All those issues are considered as a tragedy of the commons. And this is another one where the coal burning, creating a lot of pollution. Actually, when we think about externalities, that is the pollution, the environmental hazards comes mainly. Somebody is producing something, somebody is creating something at the cost of what? At the cost of polluting the environment. And we only concentrate on the production units, we only appreciate the productivity of the person, but we never probably nowadays we think in terms of all these things, but once upon a time we never ever thought of the pollution which is generated because of this production, and the pollution affecting the common people. Not the money is gained by the rich man by production, but the pollution is destroying the common people, taking away his amount, his money, in the form of healthcare issues. So these are all the issues which people never ever given a thought when they start production. Even now, many of the wastages, solid waste or liquid waste, will be thrown to water. In some places, the fish and all those water living things died simultaneously because of these things. And in some places, the common people drink water and they get health affected. But nobody blames the person who is responsible for this, because most of the time we don't know that this is the cause of that pollution. So these are the issues which have ethical dimensions, and it has to be seriously taken into consideration. And in many times, this type of externalities are happening between two countries. Most of the time, from developed countries to developing countries. For example, when Twin Tower in America fell down, it has the debris was spread approximately in some kilometers. The total area of probably 3 to 4 kilometers of the area has been filled with the debris. And within a span of some months, all those debris were taken away from that place, and America was able to start another new building there. And we all appreciated that how they come back after having such a huge attack by the terrorists. But nobody bothered about where all the debris went. And the unfortunate thing is, all the debris were dumped into one of the Indian related islands, which is very close by India. And nobody bothered about asking, and even not even the governments spoke about all these things. We only appreciated the construction work which has happened there. And simultaneously, when the industrial revolution happened and a lot of production were happening in Western countries, particularly America, the air pollution was formed into the form of a cloud, and they moved from there to different areas, and there the rain, the acid rain happened in developing countries, and India is one of the victims of that. And India got majority of the northern part because of acid rain. Many of the places become dry, they become wastelands. And when this issue was taken in front of international organizations, America outrightly rejected the factor, saying that we never did it intentionally. The air took it there, and that happened. And nobody bothered to rectify the mistakes. Nobody bothered to compensate the mistakes done by them, because we are developing countries and we have no voice at international level. So these are all the issues which, of course, we can fight with rules, regulation, laws, but ultimately I feel ethics should be there for the party who do it, to understand the level of destruction it has made to the other party. And we have to make a balance between the liberty and law. As I told you, Adam Smith believed in the self-correction power of free market, self-correcting power, what he calls invisible hand. But William Foster Lloyd, in his Tragedy of the Commons, says that the pursuits of individual gain lead to abrogation of common goods. We, without knowing, sometimes knowingly destroy the common good, only because we get some happiness, only because we get some gain out of it. We put throwing a stone to the public light. For example, at the time of strike or something, we throwing light to a glass window. All these things probably, of course, individually gain will be there in sort of happiness or in sort of whatever this thing. But we should also think in terms of how we are destroying the common good. And if we take liberty as laissez-faire economics, then it should be balanced by law in the form of regulations and constraints. Then only probably justice will be given to other people. This is what the people believe. Laissez-faire policy, non-interference of government, but that non-interference among the people who are not equally strong, like we have poor, rich people, educated, uneducated people, and we cannot think that they are equal and they can fight for themselves in the need of the hour. There has to be some regulation, some constraints, law should come in between, and then only we are able to give justice to the people. So when it comes to the ethical part of our culture, we know that we have been a country where we have given a lot of importance to this, and we always put aside the monetary issues as something which is of less relevance. Not now, once upon a time probably. And we have given a lot of importance to happiness, ethics, morals, and we have inculcated these values to our generations, next generations also. And that was highlighted in our Upanishads and ancient Hindu philosophy, metaphysics. Everywhere you can see the economic issues were not given so much of importance. And as all of us know, we call money as Lakshmi. And Lakshmi ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಾಗನು we give ಅಷ್ಟಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿಗೂ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಧನಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ, ಧಾನ್ಯಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Though it is incarnation of some issues, we speak in terms of goddess Lakshmi ಅಷ್ಟೇ. So ಧನಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ, ಧಾನ್ಯಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಾಗನು we make our children realize the importance of ಧಾನ್ಯಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ than ಧನಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದುಡ್ಡಿಗಿಂತನೂ ಆಹಾರ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅನ್ನುವುದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು in our olden days through ethics and through some small stories, we have taught them with small stories where there is a fight between two Lakshmis and Dhanalakshmi. After seeing all of us giving a lot of importance to money, she says she is superior to Dhanalakshmi, and Dhanalakshmi also discuss, and they both fight with each other, and they come to earth to test their superiority. And there was this harvesting time, and people were accumulating all the crops, and they were doing all puja and all. And at that particular place, Dhanalakshmi will put a heap of dhana in front of people, and you can imagine what might have happened to our people. So alla crops nella bittu, they run to the gold coins, and they fight with each other. They collect everything as much as possible, and Dhanalakshmi becomes very sad, and she vanishes off with tears, deciding not to come to earth again. And Dhanalakshmi becomes very happy, and she puts all golden coins throughout the period, and people accumulated whatever amount they wanted, and they're very happy for some time. And next, you have to eat something, and you exhausted with your dhanya at home. There is no additional crops in the house. You go to the neighbor and ask for dhanya, and they also say we have very limited, and you offer them some gold coins, and they say I have so much, why do I need? I need some more crops because I'm running shortage. And after some period, everybody is having golden coins in their places, nobody is having crops. And then what happens? Ultimately, they realize the importance of Dhanya Lakshmi over Dhanalakshmi, and they pray to goddess, and she will come. The story goes like that. But the ethic behind that is we want children to give more importance to Dhanya than to money. And we do have a lot of this Upanishad, Gita-upadesha, all these things have some ethics behind that. And even our old day Arthashastragnas like Kautilya or whoever it is, for that matter, even we can take the name of Adam Smith also. Adam Smith never says to do illegal accumulation of money. And you can go through all of his work. His hand is in almost all sectors, and you can see how delicately he dealt with the humanitarian issues in each sector of economy. And Kautilya's Arthashastra is one of the leading economics book of olden days. There also you can see the legal, the ethical factors highlighting in each and every work done by the king or the individuals. Even when it comes to accumulation of revenue also, there is no illegal way of accumulation. Everything is in a very systematic way. He has written that it should be done in an ethical environment. And we have seen Greek philosophers like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and they're all valued even today, because not because of their contribution to how to make money, but probably to their valuable suggestions and ideas given towards how to become good humans and how we can do something and also help others to do. That makes them forever living with us through their issues. And social responsibility is something which is there for each and every one. We are all social being. Man is a social animal, we say, and we are also political animal, and we have our own responsibility to both society and political system. And when we are in the society, when we are a part of the society, it becomes a responsibility for us to take care of the society also. Irrespective of our home, we are having the social responsibility. We means individuals, we means units, we means institutions, whatever it is. And the business, it has been taken as something very selfish, self-centered units from the beginning. And the business people always thinks in terms of how to make more profit. That's what we think, at least. We always consider them as very shrewd, very stingy, and very self-centered people. And business is, of course, it is the responsibility to make money, because so many people are depending on them, and you have to pay them, you have to look after yourself, and profit making is the ultimate, at least in at the time of classical thinkers. So it is the responsibility not only to treat employees and customers, but also to keep its end of the bargain in society at large. So business, in spite of having this as a basic minimum need for them, as a social responsibility, they have other issues like taking care of their employees, taking care of the customers who come to them, and also to take care of the society. So some of the business responsibilities to society is, as I told you, in terms of environmental impact, minimizing environmental impact, and donating to some issues, donating to some individuals, and also more important, to recall some products which are dangerous. The problems with responsibility sometimes and business economics, business ethics sometimes occur when a business has to weigh responsibilities against its responsibility of the shareholders. So everyone is having the social responsibility, and normally we customers, we have so much of options. It is not a monopoly where only one person is available. We have so many people offering us the same product, and we of course go to the person who is giving us more quality goods. But simultaneously, we also go somewhere taking into consideration how he treats us, how he speaks to us, and what is his intention. And maybe probably first time when we go, we may not know who he is and what he is selling it on. But once you go and take the get exposed to his product or get exposed to his behaviors, the second turn of going to the same person is decided by you based on these issues, not on just what he is going to give you. So most of the time we get used to somebody who is very close to our home, or somebody who comes regularly to our home. But that also ultimately decides about how he is going to respond to you, how he is going to behave. And all these other factors other than making profit is going to decide how much he is going to earn in his lifetime. So the customer is also very much keen about all these things. Simultaneously, the seller is also, the businessman is also very keen about all these factors, because he knows ultimately the consumer is sovereign. Consumer sovereignty is something which Keynes has told. Ultimately, every producer has to depend on the consumer, and consumer goes to somebody based on all these factors, not just the product which is there with him. So social responsibility is very crucial even for their sustainability. It's not just they are very good, they are very sympathetic, or they are very dana dharma madavaru antasthe alla, but also they have to take care of their sustainability in the market. They have to follow some ethics and some behaviors. And simultaneously, law and social responsibility is very, very important. Each one is, if it is a big industry or big unit, they have shareholders, and shareholders most of the time, uh, they don't bother about what is going on there, but they're only bothered about what percentage is they are expecting. They expect some improvement every year, and if they get that, they'll be happy. And the one who runs the entrepreneur who runs it, the manager who runs it, is not only has to worry about the profit making, but also has to look to the other factors which are there to improve his social status through his social responsibility. So giving profit to the shareholders comes under his commitment, and social responsibility is something which he has to take care of to sustain in the market. And externalities, as I told you, it is something which comes to us, or which is something which troubles us in spite of we not being a part of it. And ethical business leaders have a social responsibility to avoid behavior that results in a drain on society's resources. So once they come to know that there is some externality, if it is positive, it's okay. But if it is negative, it is mandatory for them to withdraw that at the cost of society's welfare. And as I told you, shareholders' pressure will always be there, and you have to take care of them as an entrepreneur, and you have to make profit, and you have to please the employers, please the workers there. And all these pressures sometimes make the person to give more importance to monetary issues than to all these social responsibilities which are based on ethics. But ultimately, if the shareholder is not aware of all these issues, it is mandatory, or it is inevitable for the person who is running the entrepreneurship, who is doing the work, to make him realize that such things are very essential. When we are in the society, we have to take care of the social responsibilities, and we have to do a part of the percentage going to the society, and making them realize is very important to lessen the shareholders' pressure. And nowadays, as all of us know, government is shrinking its presence. Like public sector is getting reduced, and private sector is getting bigger and bigger. And in spite of having so many differences, so many disturbances, so many lapses, government is not in a position to take a full presence, to give full presence in the business, and that is leading to limitation for the regulation of business ethics. It is the responsibility of private managers, private management, to see that they have to set some standards which they can reach out for the society in spite of having economic profit according to their preferences. And above all, the labor market is a challenge for all the entrepreneurs. Labor, that particularly after Marx came into existence in socialistic and Marxist economy, labor is quite strong, and labor demands a big, reasonable salary, of course. And the exploitation of labor has stopped altogether. And now how to minimize the cost to maximize the profit. In the previous days, they used to reduce the wages of laborers, they used to exploit. Now that is not happening because labor is quite aware, and labor associations are there which can protest against the reduction in the salaries, in the wages. And the problem begins now because it's very difficult for them to manage the labor issues and also to have maximum profit. So to minimize the cost, they have to go for other areas like minimize the the quality of the raw materials, or those things they have to look for it. That's going to lead to another issues. So it's really a corporate challenge to take care of how to deal with social responsibility having all these issues already, labor market issue or the shareholder issue or the legal issues, all these issues are there. But in spite of that, you have to manage them, and simultaneously you have to give something to the society, because each and every one of us is socially responsible, and social responsibility has become something like mandatory in almost all the countries. So why it is social responsibility is relevant for corporates? Unethical behavior or inability to demonstrate corporate social responsibility can damage a firm's reputation and make it less appealing to relevant stakeholders. So we are all, though we go for the quality goods as customers, though we go to big industries as laborers, ultimately we do have a link to this ethical behavior. How they behave with us will determine our sustainability. It as a customer to some particular industry or a particular unit of sellers, or as a employee to some institutions. So the corporate sector is very cautious about all these things. The inability to demonstrate their social responsibility or behaving unethically ultimately will affect them only. Their reputation will go, and people will not go to them in any type of stakeholding, like neither as customers nor as laborers. And we start highlighting them as some unethical institution, and they lose their importance in the economy. So it's very important for them to show that they are ethical, and also to do some social responsibility work, so that people will identify them as somebody who is our own, who is really worried about our status, or worried about our security and all those things. So the concept of business ethics and social responsibility, normally we use them interchangeably because we think they're almost one and the same, but the business ethics is different from social responsibility as far as the definition is concerned. Business ethics include the major principles and standards that guide behavior in the world of business, whereas corporate social responsibility is an integrative management which establishes responsible behavior within a company, and its objectives are values and competencies and the interest of stakeholders. So business ethics is something which is behavioral in the world of business, which is broadly accepted thing. But the CSR, corporate social responsibility, is taken as a part of the management, and which is something integrative, establishing the responsible behavior within the company for everybody, all stakeholders, and it is considered more seriously than the business ethics. Business ethics was there, it has been there, and it will be there. Ethics of an individual businessman, ethics of an individual retailer, whatever it is. But corporate social responsibility is something which is a new of its kind, and it is making them more responsible to each and every stakeholder in the company. So companies that consistently demonstrate ethical behavior and social corporate responsibility generate better results as far as some studies, and thus that has made even the most profit-oriented business units to think in terms of corporate social responsibility. Ultimately, they're selfish, and corporate social responsibility has proved that it's going to be more beneficial to the industries, to the business units. So most of the companies have seriously taken this into consideration, and they are bringing ethics forcefully or not, or voluntarily into their business activities. And ethics, codes of values and principles that govern the action of an individual or a group of people regarding what is right versus what is wrong. And it also deals with internal values that are part of corporate culture and decisions concerning social responsibility with respect to the external environment. The terms ethics and values are not interchangeable again. The ethics concerned with how a moral person should behave. Values, on the other hand, is inner judgments that determine how a person actually behaves. So very minor differences, the values and ethics, and also corporate social responsibility and business ethics. So why it is needed? What are the changes the corporate social responsibility can bring to a business unit, and how it can make the differences? We can list it out as build consumer loyalty. When we have a system loyal customers based, uh, when we go to a business unit, and when they behave very sincerely with some commitments, then obviously we prefer to go there again and again and again. And over a period of time, we never bother to go anywhere else. And we prefer him or her as our regular business person, whether it is a retail shop or a mall or whatever it is. So bringing the customers' loyalty on a regular basis is one of the challenges. And nowadays, we are shifting from our so-called traditional neighbor retailer, or the one who brings the vegetables in front of the house, to the big malls, where we knowingly that we will be cheated there, but we go there without bargain. We bring the product. It is something like probably a demonstration effect, probably. But these people, they try to give us some sort of discounts, or some sort of comforts, some stability in our this thing, and make us their regular customers. And this building customer loyalty, which is a new type of corporate social responsibility, which in a long period will make them to earn more money from individual customer. So corporate social responsibility do make us think positively about some corporates, and make us get attracted towards them. And second, retaining good employees. This is very important, because once the private corporates, companies, they start working, they take the people, they train them, and they improve their efficiency. And after some time, if these people leave the company because somebody else is giving some 2,000 or 3,000 rupees extra, then all the skill which has been developed here, which has the training given to them, will be outsourced. So it's very essential for the company to keep their employees in a happy way, and to make them feel very comfortable in their economy, and in their company. And definitely this retaining the good employees is the tactic which has been used by most of the corporate sectors. We can see how they please their employees, giving bonus or something like that. It's also one of the very important issue among the companies. Creating positive work environment is very important, and only if we feel that it is very comfortable, only when we feel that the atmosphere is very secured, then probably we feel to work there comfortably. And creating positive work environment is also based on ethical issues, and ethical employees and perceived as team players, rather than those individuals who work individually. And to create such situation, to create such environment, is also in the hands of companies. And corporate social responsibility do bring such things to the employees. And avoid legal problems. Only when there is coordination, cooperation, we never think of going against our employer, or going against some management issues. It can be tempted for the company's management to cut corners, to reduce the profits for the sake of their shareholders. But when we think in terms of some coordination among the two groups, probably they can work efficiently without going to any legal conflicts. This is very important as a company to move ahead with profits, and also to work in a very cordial situation. And how they can establish the ethical framework. It's very important for them to do something which is very comfortable for the people who work there. The ethics of the business depends on a company's culture or moral behavior. according to 1987 work by Long and Sedley. The decision to do activities ethically is very crucial, and all corporates have to decide what to do, how to do, and in order to align their behavior with their ethical values. So way back in 1987 itself, the ethical issues have cropped up, and most of the companies, corporations, and entrepreneurs, they felt that it is very important to bring ethical issues into consideration, because if you don't have an ethical framework, then probably it is very difficult for them to work how and for whom or why. All these issues they have to take into consideration, and they have to frame these issues in a ethical way, that if somebody questions, they should be in a position to answer that why they are doing these things. So these are all the issues which were discussed at international level, and International Monetary Fund also has spoken about these issues. And to frame the ethical so to frame the ethical issues or establishing the ethical framework, they have to identify what is ethical and what is not ethical, and also they have to identify what is in the priority list, what should come first and what should come next. So for that, each company has to frame some steps, and every issue has profit making. Every issue has so many different dimensions, and ethical dimension is one such dimension. So when the company starts, its main aim is to maximize the profit. Probably in managerial theories, we have seen the transition there itself. In the beginning, how much you can maximize your profit. If you are in a monopoly situation, if you are in a perfect competitive market, if you are in oligopoly situation, this changes. If a person is a monopolist, then definitely he can make the maximum in a way that nobody else can make. That's what we feel. Supernormal, we say profit, and we also say normal profit. And later, we have seen the transition there also, and in economics, while studying, we study MR, MC is equal to MR, MC cuts MR from below. That's the point where the optimum output is decided and profit is maximized, something like that. And we teach it to our students. We have learned it like that. And practically, when we go to the companies or production units, in most of the production units, people are not aware of marginal or average or total cost, revenue, all these things. And in most of the cases, they say they just go behind some level of profit, which is satisfactory. Simon's satisfying theory, we have taught even that to students. Simon, a global Nobel Prize winning economist, has spoken about this satisfactory level of profit. And also in many cases, people are more worried about total revenue and total cost. And they feel that if the cost is reduced, obviously the margin will increase and they get more returns in terms of profit. But even then, the theories changed, and when Baumol theory comes into picture, we have seen how Baumol gives importance to sales maximization, not to the profit making. And now we do have the theories which speaks about going for average revenue, not for the maximization of profit. Just average revenue is a revenue where you have minimum profit there. So the production units, the companies, the entrepreneurs, they are also realizing the competitiveness in the economy, and they have also realized that going for supernormal profit is quite impossible, and targeting that will just result in letting loose their customers, and they're also compromising with going with the very, very normal satisfactory level of profit, and they think more in terms of sales maximization. So when the company starts, when the production starts, though it was supernormal profit in the beginning, now the issue has transformed itself from supernormal to normal, from normal to a very satisfactory level of profit. And with that, they have a commitment to the society. With that, they have a commitment to their customers, to their employers, to their shareholders. And all these things have made things very complicated. And each one should sit and think in terms of what is his priority when he starts production. And their ethical decision is very, very crucial. So you have to take something which is very reasonable, which has ethical background, and because people will be watching you for where you are going, what you are doing, what is your priority, and that is where the success of a company, success of a corporate sector is decided. So identifying the key stakeholders and knowing what they want and putting them in the priority list, and uh, and also generating the alternative choices. So I have so many choices to do, distinguishing between ethical and unethical responses, and choosing the best, leaving the we say opportunity cost in economics. So you have to prioritize, uh, give priority to your choices, and you have to remove the unethical things, and you have to identify the ethically reasonable choice which is best to many of the people, and then you have to go for that one which not only helps you but also helps the stakeholders, and also simultaneously help the society altogether. That's where the risk of a business unit lies. So all these things has to be taken care of while a person doing business. And this is what all about the corporate social responsibilities. Identifying ethical and unethical is very crucial for any industrialist or any businessman, because the world is having a lot of competition, and no, so many people are not worried about maximizing their profit. Instead, they are worried about attracting the people and sustaining in the market for a longer time. So corporate social responsibility, it can be understood as an integrated management concept which establishes responsible behavior within the company, its objectives, values, and competencies, and the interests of stakeholders. So corporate social responsibility is not something uh, which is very casual, or not something which has a value for me as an ethic, but it is also considered as a responsibility, because it takes into its fold so many issues, so many people, and satisfying all these things is what makes a difference between ethics, business ethics, and corporate social responsibility. The concept of social responsibility is often expressed as the assumption of voluntary responsibilities that go beyond the purely economic and legal responsibilities. There's a difference between corporate social responsibility and ethics. CSR refers to the selection of institutional objectives and the evaluation of results not only by the criteria of profitability and welfare of the organization, but by the ethical standards or judgments of social desirability. So the corporate social responsibilities are something which is broader and which has taken many things into its consideration. And we can link these corporate social responsibilities as something which comes up due to the Millennium Development Goals, or at the time of Millennium Development Goals, because as I told you, the economic issues are becoming more humanistic, and more non-material issues are taken into its fold, and now we speak in terms of mm, issues like uh, what hunger, or issues like equality, issues like empowerment of women. We have so many issues which were not at all a part of economics way back in like classical thinkers never thought about, never felt that these are all the issues which should come in the purview of economics. Now economics is more sensitive to humanitarian considerations, and accordingly the topics which we deal over a period of time also has become more sensitive to these issues. For example, human development concepts are health for all by 2000 AD, education for all, or for example, we have also taken inclusive growth theory. Inclusive growth is also one of the very leading this thing, and taking them together, we brought out Millennium Development Goals. And these Millennium Development Goals, now we have Sustainable Development Goals, of course, but Millennium Development Goals made us realize that economic issues are related to all these things, and corporate social responsibility also got linked to these issues through the corporates, because it is not just the relevance of productivity or creating money which is important, but it is more important is to see the welfare of the people and to make people more happy with these monetary benefits. So Millennium Development Goals made a corporate section to realize the importance of these issues and also to bring them into their purview in their business. So this is 4 dimensions of corporate social responsibility. As shown, it is typical pyramid-like, because ultimately their main aim is economic responsibilities like producing goods and services and to earn profit. That has to be there. The economic responsibility is the base of this thing, and that follows by the legal responsibilities. Like they are committed to some people, they are committed to stakeholders like shareholders, they are committed to so many people, and giving them their share is their responsibility. And once they get the profit, they have to look to these legal responsibilities. And ethical responsibilities, of course, they have to have the ethics in their operations and the ethics in dealing with people and dealing with stakeholders that they cannot decline. And above all, the discretionary responsibility in terms of philanthropy, which is gaining importance in the present world. And this is how they have molded their priorities. Like starting, economic responsibilities were on priority, but later the legal, ethical, and discretionary responsibilities have added on, giving 4 dimensions of corporate social responsibilities. The same thing. And what is the economic responsibilities? In the pyramid, we have the base as economic responsibilities. Any any business organizations, if they start, the main issue is with economic entities, they work for the profit. The motive is profit making, of course. The primary incentive is that. And business organization has to do that because for their survival, they have to make money. And business organization, when they start, it is not, sometimes it is individual, but most of the time, the bigger the institution, more will be the people and more will be the commitment. And at that point, the idea of the profit motive got transformed into a notion of maximum profit. And it has also, as I told you, it is also changing its formats. But whatever may be the reason, whatever may be the priorities given, ethical or whatever it is, the economic responsibility is something which they cannot decline. The business itself is an economic unit, and making profit is the first and foremost issue, and they have to do it, and they will do it. And then comes legal responsibility, is the second priority, where, as I told you, they are committed to many people. They are sometimes they are also committed to government. Society has not only sanctioned business to operate according to their motives, but at the same time, they do have a commitment to the government. They do have to follow the rules and regulations promulgated by the state, both national and state level, whatever it is. And that legal commitment they cannot decline. They have their commitment to the stakeholders, and also simultaneously they have their responsibilities to the society, and also they have responsibilities to the government. So the partial fulfillment of social contract business between business and society are expected to pursue their economic mission within this framework of law. So legally, they are committed, and these codified ethics we call, because government also does its work or codifies based on ethics only. So they cannot say no to the government, and whatever government puts in the form of rules, regulations, or commitments, or restrictions, this has to be followed by the business people, followed by the companies, and they are their legal responsibilities. Ethical, as I told you, the responsibilities, they have so many commitments, norms, expectations to the employees, shareholders, consumers, and community as a whole. And to fulfill them, they have to have an ethical norms which shows that they are fair, they are justice, they are responsible, and they are really concerned about us. So the ethical responsibility is very important, because once people know that they are ethically responsible, the customers tend to go towards them, and that will make a lot of difference to any company to sustain. And philanthropic responsibilities, of course, it is upcoming, and we have seen a lot of business units doing a lot of philanthropic compassions, showing a lot of concern towards human welfare and goodwill. Many big industries outside the world and within India, we have so many to name, who are really doing a lot of human welfare related, goodwill related works at the time of crisis. We have seen so many people coming out voluntarily at the time of COVID lockdown, from a very small company to big companies. We have seen so many people voluntarily coming out and doing their contribution for the sake of human welfare. And that really made us, it's really a wonderful experience for us to see how they are responding, and also motivate us to do some from our sides as individuals. At the time of crisis, if such feelings come to the big companies, big industrial units, then definitely they are able to attract a lot of customers in the coming days. A lot of people appreciate them and go to them, because they are doing a part of their earnings are going to very responsible issues. Then definitely they are able to sustain for a long time. Tata, Birla, all these people, they are able to sustain for a long period, not because they are not, of course they are efficient, definitely, but that is something which gives them more profit. But they are able to live for a long time in the industry, long time in the economy, mainly because of their ethical and philanthropic responsibilities, so to say. And these are all the dimensions of corporate responsibilities: business ethics, values, principles, accountability, transparency, commitment to socio-economic developments, environmental concerns, human rights, workers' rights and welfare, market relations, sustainability, and corporate governance. These are all the dimensions where corporate responsibility can take into. So most of the time we see environmental concerns are gaining importance, socio-economic development, contributing towards education, helping poor children with scholarship, helping poor people with monetary benefits, or giving education to the poor people, giving helping hand to working people, employees, welfare contributions, human right supporting. Every aspect can be taken by the company as a corporate social responsibility. These are all some of the important areas, dimensions where they can work. And this corporate social responsibility do have political and religious benefits, do have political and religious background, because these concepts came out very prominently, not at the time of mercantilism, of course, but with socialistic touch to the polity. When the political system become more vibrant to the welfare of the labor class, when the Marxist model become very popular in China, Cuba, and also the nationalist models become very prominent, then the corporate social responsibility was become more relevant, and people started to force the companies to have it. The political system started to force the companies to have it in many countries, and religion also have a lot to play in this. As I told you, the ethical background of a religion makes most of the impact on the business people to contribute towards corporate social responsibility. And what are the benefits of the corporate social responsibility? Though corporate social responsibility is beneficial to the society, it do have a lot of benefits. It has given a lot of returns to the people who have done it, the corporate sector who has done it, and now we are seeing most of them doing it voluntarily because the benefits is huge. It helps the employees to increase their loyalty and retention. It increases the quality of products and services. It increases the customers' loyalty. It increases the reputation and brand image, greater productivity, regulatory oversights, access to capital and market, product safety, liability, less volatile stock values. So these are the impact of corporate social responsibilities, which the owner in turn gets the benefit. So when they show the responsibilities towards the society, towards the employees, then definitely the returns will be more from that side. And that has proved in many cases. Many studies have been done where the amount which they are giving and what they are getting is much more folds than what they are leading to those people contributing more towards the corporate social responsibility. And the international standards have been set to follow the corporate social responsibilities. That has been made a list here. If they are working towards environmental issues, the Kyoto Protocol is considered as standard. If it is for labor issues, the Labor Association Code of Conduct is there for them to set standards. And so many, the human rights, Amnesty International human rights principles are there. So it is not something which vaguely they can do it. The international authority is there which has set standards for them to look to if they are going for some issues. Though each issue has a standard set so that they can see it and follow accordingly. And this way they can definitely do a lot towards the corporate social responsibilities. So coming to the Indians' status of corporate social responsibility in India, though officially we think corporate social responsibility as a recent thing. It has come. It is quite a recent issue in the world, but in India we have had this as a part and parcel of our culture, and it has been shown in Vedas, Puranas, and it's not a big thing for us. Those who are in the business, those who earn more, they tend to give money in the form of dana, dharma, we say. And dana, dharma has been there in almost all the religion. We see Islam religion doing such contribution out of their income, zakat they say. So if they earn something, out of whatever they earn, a part of it has to go to the poor people in the form of zakat. At the time of Ramzan, they very strictly follow this. And also Sikhs, they do have dashant, which is a contribution done towards the poor people by rich people. And it is not poor and rich. Everyone who is having income, give a part of it to the other as a responsibility, which is there in our religion, in our culture, in our tradition. And that's why we have a small story, as I told you, that ನಾವು ಈಸೋಪನ ನೀತಿ ಕಥೆಗಳು ಆ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲವು ethic related stories will be there. And there two people go to God after their death, and one is a very rich man who used to do lot of dana dharma, lot of charity, and another one is a poor man who used to earn his livelihood by cutting the wood and something like that. And when they go, God decides the woodcutter as the greatest charity maker compared to him, and this person gets offended, and he starts asking God, I have done so much of charity, I gave thousands and thousands of rupees like this, that, and this person is struggling hard for his own survival. And how can you treat him as the greatest dani than me? For that, God says, you had so much of money, crores and crores of money. Out of that, you donated thousands, not at the cost of any of your needs. Extra money you had and you have given it to other people. But this person, he used to earn probably 50 rupees per day. And out of that 50 rupees, after taking care of all his family members and all other things, he has made it a point to give 1 rupee every day to a poorer person, poorer than him, so that he can take care of his needs. And that is the difference between you and him. In this way, we do have the concept of charity and how you have to give something to other in spite of having less is also there. And the Islamic, Sikh, all Hindus, all of them have this type of charity giving concepts, and it's not something which is a new like corporate social responsibility. We do it have in Vedas and in our religion. And what is CSR at macro level? We say we have given this the value creation at the foremost, and harm minimization and compliances with legislation, inspection, and all these things. And together they make what is the corporate social responsibility at macro level. And when it comes to India, this is the phase of CSR in India. We have bifurcated it into different phases, taking into consideration 1850 onwards. As I told you, it is as old as Veda Purana. And in 1850s and 40s, it is mainly philanthropic, and it is charity solely made by the individual, the owner. Like, I feel like giving and I'm giving, something like that. But in 60s to 90, the second phase, during this period, particularly independence struggle, we have seen lot of CSR-like contributions towards social development. The Tatas and Birlas, their contribution is highlighted particularly in the second phase. We can see how they built so many necessary institutions, industries in India. Mainly because of them, the independent India got many crucial institutions as well. The third from, I think this is not up to 1960, the second phase. And the third is 60 to 90. That's where CSR under the aegis of mixed economy, we have seen a lot of private sectors coming into picture and contributing. And in the fourth place, after globalization, we have seen how the private sector becoming stronger and competitive nature, liberalized period where we have seen the companies taking this as one of the crucial factor to improve their sustainability in the market and also to improve their profit making. CSR has been taken as one of the very crucial thing in the fourth phase, that is after 1990 onwards. The significance, it helps in strengthening, as I told you, the relation between companies and stakeholders in the first instance, and it enables continuous improvement and encouragement in innovations of new things, attracts industry's talent as a social responsible company, provides additional motivation to employees, mitigates risk, enhance ability to manage stakeholder expectations. So all these factors, it is not somebody is the head, a monopolist like, and all others are servants. It's not like that. It is a mutual understanding and mutual cooperation where the corporate social responsibility can start at the company level and can expand to the community level, to the national level, and also at the international level. They can expand their contribution in terms of CSR. And the driving forces have been given, and it's something like it spreads to everybody, and it includes everyone in the inclusive growth matter. And this is also one of the slides where they have taken into consideration the ethical model of Gandhi and status Jawaharlal Nehru, who gave importance to mixed economy, and liberal model of Friedman, where the corporate responsibilities is limited to the company and its shareholders, and then the model stakeholder model given by Freeman, which takes into consideration customers, employees, communities, everything. So even the corporate social responsibility models has transformed over a period of time, and Gandhi as leading the list with voluntary commitment by companies to public welfare, and Mahatma Gandhi has contacted Birla and all those Indian business people who came forward at the time of independence, voluntarily sacrificing their things and giving more, contributing more towards the corporate social responsibility. And this is also repetition. There are some more which I think the office people are saying it is time. I wanted to speak about Company Act 2013, which made CSR mandatory in India. So it is an act which came out in April 2014, making all the companies to contribute towards corporate social responsibility. And now it is mandatory, not only mandatory, but also we have the features are there. You can share it. It is not only mandatory, but amendment has made it in such a way that those who are not able to contribute this year, the fund will add on to the next years, and they can show the contribution in the next year if it is not possible for them to contribute in this particular year. So government has come in between, and government has become very strict regarding the corporate social responsibility contribution for those whose annual turnover is 1,000 crore and more, or net worth is 500 crore or more, and net profit is 5 crore and more, then it is mandatory for them to contribute towards corporate social responsibilities. Some of the examples were there, and since time is not there, I just wind up. Some of the recent issues are also there. I think we can discuss in some other this thing. And I'm just winding up. I just give them 2-3 minutes. If any clarifications, the office is very much waiting for me to wind up, so just winding up. I'm not able to take the whole thing, but any clarifications are this thing, I'm happy to respond if I know. The slides will be there with the office. I think they're going to give you the soft copies of this. Some 1 or 2 were there. Otherwise, it's okay. So any questions like